no commitments today, or any this week, I don't believe. But at the same time, I do feel like Tennessee is really primed to, I think, have the next few months, I think, could be pretty big for Tennessee. I think Tennessee's in a good spot with several really, really solid to really great prospects.
What does the timeline look like over the next few weeks, Austin? AustinPriceVolquest.com is with us in terms of getting prospects to campus, schedule of what things will look like over the rest of April.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend's a huge one. Obviously, there'll be kids in for the spring game next week, but this weekend, you have Douglas Utu, big-time offensive tackle out of Las Vegas, coming in. You have Juan Gaston, big-time offensive tackle out of the state of Georgia. He'll be here. Redarius Jackson will be here. It's a big weekend on campus. And then, next weekend, obviously David Sanders rolls into town. George McIntyre will be back in town for that one. I don't think Georgia's set to be here this weekend, but with Redarius coming in and a few other really big-time players, it wouldn't surprise me if he, made the quick trip over from Nashville potentially. And, we're going to have a nice little run. Marcus Harris, the four-star wide receiver, he's on campus today. Tennessee will scrimmage under the lights at Neyland Stadium later tonight at 7:30 in what is a late-night scrimmage for a team that practices of the morning.
What was the reasoning behind changing the schedule? Was it just simply to be able to practice under the lights?
I think it was probably that. I honestly don't know, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me because, they're such a strict morning team that they don't have anything tomorrow, obviously. Their next practice will be Saturday, and so I think it's just to try to get under the lights at Neyland. It turns out that, today is not exactly the warmest day that they've had here recently, so it should be rather chilly tonight. It's currently 50. When the sun goes down, I would say it'll get they'll be scrimmaging in the low 40s when Tennessee start scrimmaging later this afternoon / evening.
Is Nico's personal coat guy? Is he gonna be okay for tonight's scrimmage? Because Nico, he don't like the cold weather now.
I think he'll be fine. I watched Nico play a 7-on-7 tournament in the sleet at Farragut two Marches ago. Right before Tennessee's spring game, and so I think he'll be fine.
Austin Price, Volquest.com. Tennessee getting ready to scrimmage later this evening with the Orange-White game coming up a week from Saturday. Are there players and or position groups you're eager to hear about, to find out about how things go this evening?
Yeah, I want to continue to hear that the wide receivers are making plays, but I also want to hear that the defensive backs are making plays as well. So it kind of works hand in hand. I think the secondary is something that, I think could be a more exciting group this fall. They've really overhauled that part of the team, and a lot of new names or names that were kind of new a year ago that are now in their second year, like a Ricky Gibson. Love the link that Tremont McCoy brings. And so, for my liking, it's really, to me, that's the areas where I want to hear Tennessee's making plays, because I think they need to be better in the back end, and they need to be more dynamic at wide receiver.
A long time before Tennessee plays a game, but what do you think the concern level is with the running back room?
I don't know yet, and I don't think they know yet, Jason. Obviously you're down really, to me, two backs. You're just not going to play Dylan Sampson that much this spring. I don't think Cooper Mays is going to do another thing the rest of spring. There's just certain players on the team that, you don't really need to, push yourself on. Especially with Selden down, Sampson becomes even more important. Where's Khalifa Keith at? Where's Deshaun Bishop at? I do know that, Peyton Lewis is back around the team. He started to do jogging / borderline running, which means he started to resume physical activity. He's been able to do some walkthrough type stuff with the running back room the last little bit, and all that's good, but you still don't know exactly what you have in him. So I don't think they've made a decision on whether they'll go to the portal or not. I think a lot of it depends on kind of how they feel coming out of spring. Problem is Cam Seldon's going to be so fresh off of that surgery. It's not like if it was 2 months from now, you could easily say, well, he's ahead of schedule, right? Like, you don't know if he's ahead of schedule or not. It's so fresh. So I think that they'll have to make a judgment call coming up here in the next 2 weeks or so, and it's kind of interesting to see what they do.
Austin Price, Volquest. So scrimmage activity this evening. Spring practice continues for another 9 days or so before the orange and white game. Swain, how about as a birthday gift for Austin? We put him on the hot seat. We like to do over-unders with commitments. They're going to have some visitors. Got a fresh month to work with here in April. Austin, what's an appropriate line? 2.5, 3.5 commitments? What's an appropriate line to set to make things interesting one way or the other for April?
I don't know, because, I think you guys just got to set it and let me figure it out. Because,
Okay. 2.5. If I said 2.5, what would you say commitments for the month of April for Tennessee football?
I'm going to go under. I do think they will get – I do think they will land one for sure. I think it's potential 2. I'm going to go – I think it'd be a stretch to see them get 3. So I would go under.
Is there a player that stood out in the first scrimmage that you have a lot of confidence in that will do the same thing in scrimmage number 2? I know there's a lot of people out. It's kind of hard to keep up with actually who is healthy and who is actually going to participate the entire scrimmage. But if there was one player that you could say, all right, he had a good scrimmage 1, and I'm pretty confident he have another one tonight, who's that player?
Keenan Peely. The more I talk to people, the more that they just continue to rave about, not only what he did in scrimmage 1, but what he does in regular scrimmage work during regular practice. And to be honest with you, as much as you'd love to say, they really kind of need to shut him down because they need to keep him healthy, he also kind of needs the work. 2 years ago he was hurt, he didn't play. Last year he got hurt early, didn't play. Like, he kind of needs to knock some rust off. But I think it's a good sign if Keenan Peely is playing the way everybody has described.
Austin, anything else to mention that we might have missed on the recruiting front before we let you go? And what can people find right now at Volquest.com?
Just continued coverage of the transfer portal or potential transfer portal for basketball. Eric, Kane has you updated on, the status of Billy Amick and kind of where Tennessee is with A.J. Russell in baseball, and obviously, spring practice is in full bloom, but, never stops. There's always something going on Rocky Top, and Volquest is a perfect place just to come, sit down, talk a little Tennessee sports with Brent and Rob and myself and Matt Ray and everybody else.
That message board post where Josh Ward said that Bruce Pearl's going to be the next Lady Vol coach, go ahead and take that down for us, okay?
Don't you love those?
Do you know who the Lady Vols are going to hire, by the way?
I do, but I can't tell you.
The birthday boy got the secrets. That was your birthday present, huh?
I don't. I do. I will be shocked if it's not. This will be the first hire that's not outside the family. I think that's going to go that direction. I think Danny wants to make a splash, and I'm not saying that he's going to go out and just drop a bunch of money. Maybe he does, but I think he's wanting someone who's a proven winner, has done it. And let's face it, Danny is really. I said this on national radio on Tuesday. Danny is set up here, I think, because of the transfer portal and NIL, that you could flip this thing. Tennessee's not been to a Final Four since 2008. Jason, you were fresh out of college, at that point. It's been a while. And to potentially, hire someone who gets you back there, man, that's a huge win for, an athletic director's legacy on a program that carries as much weight in women's basketball as any other program. That's just kind of, I won't say fallen on hard times, but kind of hit a wall when it comes to the tournament. They've continued to win games. Holly won a bunch of games, and honestly, so did Coach Harper. But when it came to the tournament, they just kept hitting the wall. Sweet 16, Elite 8, kept hitting the wall. and who breaks through that wall. If it's the next person they hire, then obviously, Danny White's kind of restored, the glory back to the Lady Vol program. So, I think it's an important hire, but, and I think one that he probably, hated he had to make, because I think he really likes Kelly Harper, but at the same time, now that he's got to make it, he's going to put everything into going out and finding the right person.
Yep. He knows what the expectations are for the job as he goes out and tries to find the next head coach of the Lady Vols, talking about Danny White. Talking to Austin Price right here from Volquest.com. Go there to read his coverage and his colleagues' coverage as well. Austin, thanks for the time as always. Happy birthday to you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate you guys. Talk to you next week.